One of Canon's most well-known and most popular lens is the Canon 50mm f1.8, or what is widely more known as the Nifty 50 by most photographers. But how does a $50 knockoff hold up against it? As of budget lenses, the Yongnuo 50mm f1.8 is probably the most affordable and the best lens you can pick up, and is probably one of the best first lenses every photographer, cinematographer should buy. At less than $50, this is less than half of Canon's Nifty 50 at $125. This lens works on both aps-c's and full-frame sensors, meaning you can have this on a cheap camera like the T3i, or a bigger, more professional camera like the 1DXs or the 5D series. The Yongnuo Nifty 50 looks and feels exactly like Canon's discontinued, more expensive Nifty 50. The plastic does show how cheap this lens is because it's super light, and if you guys can just hear this real quick. You can hear, I'm guessing, what is the focus modules inside moving around. What is nice about this lens is that the rubber grip on the focus ring is freaking amazing. It is way better than Canon's, which I don't even think the Canon's Nifty 50 has a rubber grip. It feels smooth, and the autofocus to manual focus switch, it feels exactly like the Canon Nifty 50. It has 7 aperture blades, the exact same as the Canon Nifty 50, which gives off a really nice bokeh effect. Overall, the build, construction, and quality of this is really good for its $50 price point. I've been using this lens for about half a year now, and I have to tell you that the focus speed and accuracy really isn't too good. That kind of shows where its $50 price point is at. If you're shooting stationary objects, you should be perfectly fine, but when you're shooting stuff that is moving, especially in low light, then if you're trying to nail it swiftly and trying to get that really nice in-focus picture with all that detail and bokeh, then you may be a little bit disappointed by how slow the autofocus system is, but it's a $50 lens, it should be expected. When I bought this lens, I wasn't expecting it to produce sharp or vibrant colored photos, but to my surprise, it is actually really, really sharp, and it produces really vibrant colors. Now, I did have to increase the sharpness and clarity in post a bit because I do have an older camera, but it should be perfectly fine for someone using this on an SL2 camera, for example. Those are newer cameras, they're sharper, they have higher megapixel count, and the pictures I'm showing you right now, they're just from pictures around my room because I don't want to go outside. It's too cold for that. And not to mention, the bokeh is amazing. It's an f1.8 lens, which is of course the main selling point of this lens. That's the main selling point for the Canon Nifty 50. So it's going to be the same for the Yongnuo Nifty 50. The bokeh is amazing. If you have fairy lights and you're trying to shoot a portrait, just have that in the background and it'll produce amazingly sharp results. The bokeh will be amazing with those 7 blades of aperture. And yeah, just this lens, putting it on is going to create amazing portraits because of course it's a 50mm. You're going to be using it more for portraits. This lens is of course made for anyone who's just starting into photography, like just half a year or about a year into it, or you're just a hobbyist, not a professional. Or someone who's just on a really tight budget and can't afford Canon's official lens at $125 and plus dollars. The focus speed might irritate you, but once it focuses, it produces an amazing quality picture and even sometimes video if you're using manual focus. But for professionals who have been doing this for a very long time and are shooting mainly movement like weddings or any kind of event, you may be disappointed. But if you're just a portrait photographer like me, or a hobbyist that shoots still photos, that shoots still subjects, and this is a perfect lens for anyone who's on a tight budget or just getting into photography. Anyway, this is my review on the Yongnuo 50mm f1.8, the Canon Nifty 50 knockoff. Hope you all enjoyed this video. I'll leave a link down below. None of the links are affiliated. Have a nice day. Peace.